culture, man, is something that I think anyone can learn from, whether you're a business leader, a parent, because at the end of the day, like, you build a culture in your own home. Like, that's a fact. A sports coach, if you're a leader of any kind, like, learning different lessons about how to build a strong culture is, to me, something that should be on the forefront. And the Washington football team, Commanders, whatever you want to call them, I mean, they've had a losing culture. Like the Jacksonville Jaguars had a losing culture. I want to talk about a winning culture, though, and I'm reading this book called Legacy by James Kerr, and it's random, man, because
it's not really in relation to Steve Kerr.
No.
I know his dad passed away, but okay. When I saw that, I was like, I didn't know he wrote a book.
Nah, it's a different dude. And in America, we have our sports that are popular here, but the book is about the New Zealand rugby team, right? You may think, like, all right, that's random. Rugby's actually like a really big sport worldwide.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it's a big deal, right? And the reason why this guy really wanted to learn about their culture is because their lifetime winning percentage is 77%. So if you look at professional sports teams, they have the highest winning percentage out of any professional sports team ever. Right? Ever.
Do you know how many titles they have?
I didn't really look into that. We could probably pull it up.
What team is it again?
The New Zealand rugby team. They call their selves the Blacks. That's like their nickname is the Blacks.
Are they gonna get canceled for that?
Yeah, yeah.
They're not in America. They'd be alright.
Yeah. It's not.
They're not in America.
Yeah, the all blacks. The All Blacks, I think is the technical term. But
I've seen some about them somewhere.
So they kind of went viral on social media because they do they call it the haka before games,
Okay,
where they
okay, that's what it is.
And they do the chants and stuff. Yeah. Now every New Zealand team does it. So like, what went viral was the New Zealand team was playing against the basketball team was playing against USA in the Olympics.
Steven Adams
and
Derrick
Rose, James Harden, Draymond. So they played it. They play
like get a load of this guy.
Right. So
it remind me of like a Disney movie where they're looking at each other. It's like, you believe this?
Yeah.
So they're lined up and
that's a funny quote.
And they're doing their chants. They know. And the sick part is, I like it though.
Oh, my tongue was all out. I ain't like that, dog.
You like, why you look like the Datas?
Bro, I panned over. That's all.
Why?
Nah, you know who you look like Chris Bosh when they won the championship.
Yo, pause. That's the ultimate pause.
Big pause.
That's an ultimate pause. You said I look like repping the Datas?
You remember there was a scene where
I know exactly what you're talking about. Was that the Datas or the new? What was that? I'm about to watch that when I get back to the That's a great movie.
That is a great movie.
I'm about to watch that.
Wait, what movie y'all talking about?
Stop talking
Datas.
You read Datas. Ooh. Yeah, that joint was hard.
Yes, sir.
Shout out to the Datas.
But yeah, they basically attribute their success to a couple things, but off the field culture is something that they really emphasize. Which
in what way?
So they have this.
Have you read the book?
I'm reading it now, so I'm like on chapter 3. Here's a quote from the book. Everyone is responsible for the smallest details, including cleaning out the locker room after a training or match. They call it sweeping the shed. Sweeping the shed is your job no matter who you are, right? So in the book, they tell a story of this guy who literally like became their all-time like leading scorer or whatever. They do an interview, and you would think like, all right, he's gonna go celebrate or whatever. He was the last person in the locker room, and before he left, he made sure the locker room was spotless. So
my coach, my college coach, used to always preach that like sloppiness, spreads like a disease. So like if our lockers or the locker room wasn't tight, like we get in trouble, and that stuff matters, man. Going back to details, whether it's like making up your bed, folding your clothes and putting them away the same day.
Yep.
Right? I know we all kind of have struggles with that.
For sure.
I know you definitely had struggles with that growing up, because our room was freaking.
It was because of me?
I would say, what's the winning percentage? 77.7% was because of you, champ. But that's neither here nor there.
Don't talk to Mama about that.
We can talk to Mama.
Don't talk to Mama about that.
I call her right now. Shit.
But they also emphasize how basically putting yourself above the team is like frowned upon in New Zealand, and how they really emphasize humility, and one of the things that I wanted to talk about is their team mission is deeper than just like winning a game, right? Like they tie in the New Zealand culture, they tie in the legacy of their team. They tie in all these different what's what I'm looking for, values and morals that have nothing to do with the game. Like it's more than just we're gonna go out and play. It's really like they have an identity. And I know we've talked a lot about Herndon basketball and how, kind of what's changed and how things have kind of gone downhill. So yeah, I thought one, I would recommend the book to everybody, but
remind me, what is it called?
It's called Legacy by James Kerr.
Yeah. No, that's powerful.
But yeah, I mean, it's something that man, like it really hit home, because when you look at the difference between winning and losing, it's very small things, man. Bill Belichick, man, he's not like a rah-rah guy. His like main motto is do your job, right? Like just do your job. And we've experienced stuff even recently, with team stuff in the men's league with trying to balance like different roles and stuff like that. And yeah, man, I would love to hear your take on just how you've kind of taken that approach, because people look at you, they wouldn't like you don't carry yourself like I'm that dude, come kind of bow down to me.
Yeah. Jess would think otherwise.
I mean, so I'll say that
I'm kidding.
You can carry yourself like with confidence, right? But it's not arrogant. So
yeah. I
mean, how did especially in your Herndon career, how did you stay humble, and not make it about you, when literally, like when you thought of Herndon basketball at that time, like it was really about you.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good question, man. I think for me, and you talk about culture, it started in the household. Like, look at our father. Like, Dad's probably the most humble guy that I've ever known. Entirely selfless. Never really wanted credit for anything. He just put his head down and worked. So I think that's kind of where it started. But I also think, for me, recognizing that I was a leader, everyone knew that I was the guy, one of the best players, but in order for me to get everyone to get to a certain level, I had to be respectable, right? I had to talk to certain people a certain way. People can sense when you're arrogant and you're about yourself. And I wasn't trying to be that guy, because I knew, excuse my friend, but I wasn't shit. Like, for real, I wasn't. Like, I haven't gotten anywhere yet. Like, we still haven't really won anything yet. And saying, during the season or whatever, when I'm getting accolades and scoring a certain amount of points, but nah, man, like there's a goal that I want to get to, and by me feeling myself and being arrogant, that's just gonna hinder it, right? So, I don't know. There was always a standard, I think, playing at Herndon, and for me, again, I looked at Scotty Reynolds, right? Like, that's who I was chasing, because Scotty got district championships.
Yep.
He got a regional championship, which hasn't been done in Herndon history. He got to the state championship.
Yep.
So I was chasing that, man, and that's the culture that I wanted to not only be a part of, but I wanted to leave, Herndon in better hands.
There you go.
Which, and it's crazy. It's funny. It's like, this might be an underrated thing to say, but they won 2 championships. I'll rewind. 2 players that were freshmen on my senior year team, they won 2 more district championships after I graduated. And I think I played a part in that.
I know you did.
So.
You know what's funny? I don't mean to cut you off, but one of the sayings in that book was leave the jersey better for the next person.
Yep.
Leave the jersey better for the next person. And I mean, I never really asked you that and never really thought about it in that way because, as a leader, I think that's what I was most impressed by with you, your junior and senior year, but especially your senior year, because you didn't have that many guys who had like playing experience, right? John B played a lot his junior year, or a good amount, but he didn't start, did he? Hightower, was you Hightower, Randall?
That's a good question.
Zach?
I think he's... No, I don't think he did.
Yeah, I don't think he started his junior year.
Yeah, maybe not. He maybe started some games.
But yeah, I mean, you ran... Well, Ocker, I know, played...
Yeah, you're right. I don't think
he started. Riley didn't get much playing time his junior year.
Mm-hmm.
You had 2 freshmen, DeAndre and Dorian, who obviously were freshmen.
Yeah.
Patrick didn't play. Nick Delgado didn't play 1 minute of organized basketball.
Yeah. No, that team was wild, man.
So how did you? Here's my thing, because I know you're not a confrontational guy, right? Like I know you're not afraid to speak up, but how did that make you better as a leader, in the sense that you had to have some uncomfortable, conversations or moments with teammates and confront them, even though that's not like your natural personality?
I think when you set a goal and that goal means something to you, you'll do whatever it takes. The goal for that year was to win a district championship. And I actually think we talked about this. Nico's cousin, Marcus Berry, I think we had just lost to Annandale, like off a buzzer beater. Annandale ended up making it to state that year. Good team. And after the game, Marcus had his track top, like inside out. So myself and shout out to Riley McKenzie Jr. Shout out to Big Rye's birthday was today. Super Bowl champion, Washington Redskins, not the Washington Commanders.
Another
we'll get him on the pod.
Yeah, one of the most humble people I know.
But yeah, he had his top on inside out, and we're like, yo, like, put your top on the right way. And Marcus was like, nah, man, I'm chilling. And we're like, no, like, put your top on the right way. That may seem like a small thing in detail, but we're a team, man. We're gonna accept a win, and we're also gonna accept defeat together as a class, the same way.
With class.
So that was number one. That was like the first, I guess, kind of confrontational. And then there was others with like some other guys. But again, man, I'm not comparing myself to Jordan in The Last Dance, but like there's a lot of parallels in that when I saw how he would handle guys like Rodman and some of the just, I guess, noise that they went through. But it's like, yo, like, they knew what my goal was. They knew what the team goal was. I wasn't stopping for nobody, dog. Right? Like, Patrick, our probably third leading scorer, didn't come to the our holiday tournament. Okay, next person steps up. Shout out to Matt Stevens. We won that joint. We weren't supposed to win that joint.
No, you weren't.
And when we won that tournament, and there were some good teams, I knew, I was like, all right, like, we're legit. But yeah, it came down to, I knew what I wanted. I knew what I wanted for the team. I knew what I wanted for coach, our legacy. And I wasn't about to let no foolishness, stop us from getting there. And that's just me as a person, dog.
Yeah,
like,
facts.
when I found out I was a father, right, like, that's the most precious and, I think, meaningful job that I'll have. So if you come to me with some foolishness, I'm gonna let you know. And I'm not like you said, I'm not a confrontational person, but like, I take this stuff serious, dog.
Right.
I take the game of basketball serious. I take fatherhood serious. And I'm a playful guy. Like, I'm super silly. I'm always silly. But like, there's certain things, dog, like, nah, man, I'm not. I lack patience. And I'm a patient guy, I like to think.
Yeah, for sure.
But there's certain things. Yeah.
Well, I am confrontational.